you know, the stakes were high, the pressure was really on. Everybody was calling me all the time if I'm ready and if everything feels good and if they can help. And I'm like, no, please just leave me alone and let me do my thing. My name is Thomas Preining, 26 years old, from Austria. I'm currently racing in DTM for Porsche Team Manthey EMA. So my epic racing story is the big accident in Hockenheim in 2022. I think the story starts basically at the beginning of the season, actually. We had a horrible start to the year with 4 consecutive either non-finishes or non-points finishes at least, and yeah, nowhere near obviously the championship fights back then. And somehow we had a really good turnaround and ended up fighting for the championship on the last weekend, having a few wins, good podium results, etc. And then suddenly the pressure was on, the fire was on, and we really went all in. We were not leading the championship. We didn't have the most realistic chances of winning it, but when you have any shot at winning a DTM title, especially in the rookie year, for me and Porsche and the team, you have to give it your all. And well, I did give it my all, but for only a very short time. I think it was lap 2 or 3 where it all went down. In the quick right-hander turn 7, I believe it is, going into Mercedes arena.
Third of the championship, and now gets the place back. He goes second. Rast is third, but he's got Bortolotti barreling up the inside of him now. On the brakes on the way to turn 8. He goes through the huge shunt behind. Massive shunt there, and fireball as well. We've got 3, 4, 5 cars off. Thomas Preining is one of them. His car is destroyed.
There was contact between me and another car, which sent us into a pretty high-speed half spin into a concrete wall, which unfortunately is very solid, so it needs no further security testing. It does its job, and it didn't move 1 inch, and it was a pretty hard impact, pretty painful as well. And we came back on track after that, and behind us, the cars which were trying to avoid and brake and go left and right, it was all a big mess. And my dear friend Dennis Olsen also got caught up in that. Car in front of him braked and he couldn't avoid, and he also spun out, and he hit the wall. And this is probably actually the most famous part of the story, where his engine went flying out of his car and the block of fire slid across the racetrack. Very unfortunate, since he had nothing to do with the accident whatsoever. But yeah, definitely a huge one, and very painful. But there was a small chance to get the car back on track for the Sunday race, and we were still fighting for P3, theoretically at least, in the championship then. So I was really trying hard to be ready for Sunday, and I kind of told everybody I'm fine, no pain, everything is okay. Luckily the car was not fixable in time, and the race doctor was a bit smarter than me, and he said you cannot drive. It was a very high force impact as well, so glad I didn't have the allowance, because about half a day later it really hit me, and it was not so fun on the way back home. But definitely a story to remember, not for the best reasons, but the best reason obviously followed a year later. So then moving on to 2023, obviously a very different year. We started on the right foot immediately. We had very strong results already on the second race of the season, Sunday in Oschersleben. We were in a very strong position, I think 4 or 5 seconds clear in the lead. We unfortunately got a penalty for a pit stop infringement, which threw us back down to P3. And I think what happened after kind of defined the rest of the year. Obviously, the team was new in DTM. I was for the first time working with the team as well, and it's always easy to say in the bad times you also have to be a team, but we really were, and we put our heads together and came back in the best way possible with a podium the next race as well. And I think this was one of the most important moments, also with the people of the team management, to really bring everyone together and keep the spirits high, even though the moment obviously was very difficult. And then first win came at Norrisring. It's always been a good place for me.
Rene Rast, well, if Preining's trying to push him into a mistake, he's going to have to try a bit harder, because I can't remember the last time I saw Rene Rast make a mistake, so he's going to have to pass him on merit, so to speak. He does look quick, he goes to the inside, do they make contact? Onto the curb, and he muscles his way through.
Meters of tarmac to do now. Before he will head to the checkered flag, and Thomas Preining then takes the checkered flag and wins.
And this one was especially meaningful to me because I was fighting against Rene Rast, who was definitely one of my role models coming through the ranks, and obviously he's a 3-time champion, so it's always a pleasure to fight against drivers of this caliber, and being able to beat him in this race was truly special. With a pretty cool move from my perspective. He was not too happy about it, but that's racing sometimes, I guess. And then the next race actually at Nürburgring, I think, is where, in my opinion, we won the championship. I got caught up in not an accident, but I had some pretty heavy damage after the start. There was a couple of people on slicks who spun into me from both sides at the same time and sandwiched me on the exit of turn 1, and the whole car was basically broken.
5 kilograms he's carrying as a result of the third place yesterday. The front bumper has been in the water. That's hanging off now. The team needs to do something about that. If they send him out like that, he may well get called back into the pits.
And still, we just fought through. We decided no matter what, we're going to finish the race and hopefully still score a couple of points. Didn't know that we're going to finish P5, which was fantastic. But also in the pit stop, it was so close to be out, you know. I mean, if you never know, if the race director has a bad day, he shows us the black and orange flag. The whole front bumper fell off during the pit stop, and when the car dropped, it kind of magically came back onto the car, and we got very lucky. But I think sometimes the harder you work, the luckier you get. Final race weekend, Hockenheim just came off a home podium at Red Bull Ring, back in the championship lead, which was, I think, very important, because you always have pressure, obviously, when you fight for the championship, but especially in that moment, it was for the first time for Porsche, for me, and also for the team to have a realistic shot and to get everybody's first championship. I think there's many things Porsche has won in the past, and Porsche has won millions of times, like Le Mans, Daytona, WEC, any endurance race basically. And this was just something they've never taken part in, and it's a big thing, you know, at the core of German motorsport, which obviously is important for Porsche, and it meant a lot to everybody. So the stakes were high, the pressure was really on. Everybody was calling me all the time if I'm ready and if everything feels good and if they can help, and I'm like, no, please just leave me alone and let me do my thing. And it was definitely a very tricky scenario, because also the opposition obviously was extremely tough. I respect Mirko a lot. He's definitely one of the top guys out there, and it didn't make it easy for me. We were really fighting with the knife between our teeth, but I think the main fight we kind of carried out in qualifying, which is so important in DTM.
If Thomas Preining finishes first or second in qualifying, no matter what Bortolotti does, Preining will be champion. If Thomas Preining is third in qualifying, and Mirko Bortolotti then has to get pole position to take it down to this afternoon's race. And in any scenario, even with Thomas Preining out of the top 3 in qualifying, Bortolotti has got to be getting in the top 2 in qualifying to stand any chance. So It's a big task. He needs basically the perfect day today. Thomas Preining being strapped into the car, Mirko Bortolotti, likewise the two that will be very much keeping an eye on. Out on track. Could this be the 10 minutes in which he becomes the DTM champion? Or is Mirko Bortolotti going to be able to get pole position or second, depending on where Preining finishes, and take it right down to the wire? He's trying to beat a 138.102. He'll probably need 2 good laps at this because others are going to improve as well. But for now, he goes to the top of the times, and that's a mega lap. 137.016, quicker than anybody's got all weekend. He's certainly pushing on. He's certainly got time for a couple more laps, but will the tyres give him that? He goes way out wide. And let's see where this one puts him. His first proper lap, 6th place, nearly 0.3 of a second down. But this will be the lap where he'll try and improve it. But Bortolotti at the moment is first. Preining is 6th. So if it stays like this, Bortolotti gets 3 points. That then closes the gap to 24 and means we go down to the showdown. And he's got even quicker. Wow, what a lap from Mirko Bortolotti. 1 minute 36.806, 3/10 quicker than anybody else out there.
Now Thomas Preining trying to respond quickest of anybody in sector 1.
And he's 48 thousandths down on his own sector time through the second sector, so it is an improvement at 45.082. That puts him a 10th down on Mirko Bortolotti through the first sector. He had the quickest first sector, Preining. Bortolotti had the quickest second sector, so it's going to be tight. He could be in the top 3 with this one. We know he's very good at the end of the lap as well, Thomas Preining. Can he get onto the front row? And that would give him the championship. Thomas Preining comes through and he goes fastest. Wow! Look at that! Dad Andy stares, cheers, nice light up, and an SSR performance. They cannot believe it. Bortolotti put in this mega lap. Preining has got even quicker by 6 thousandths of a second, and Bortolotti heads into the pit lane. He's got nothing left. He's got nothing left, and that is it, because Bortolotti's not going to improve now, and Preining, as long as he keeps that lap, is going to be the champion.
Well, we beat him by a couple of thousandths of a second. We both said after the qualifying in various interviews that we both did the perfect lap, so I think if I had, I don't know, sneezed one time in the car, I would have been 6,000 slower and he would have been on pole, and it would have gone all the way down to the wire in the last race. But like this, obviously, it was a big relief for the whole team. It was a lot of pressure off our shoulders to make such big progress within this half a year that the season is. Honestly, it was really cool, and we're all really proud of them.